It's 146. I do podcasts for more reasons than just kicks. Yes, it's Johnny Iceby, and I'm coming back with you. Yeah, I'm here to show you why things fly and then things fall out of the sky. Yes, I'm going to have some turmeric, and ginger tea tonight before bed with a little nightcap for you. Are you ready for a little nightcap? It's just like a little thinking cap for your head before you go to sleep. Yeah, it's 1:47 a.m. and we're getting ready. I just started my due day, so I start off my due day getting ready to go to bed. Yes, I'm a 1:41 a.m. baby. And holy cow, I was born just how many minutes ago? It's 1:47 now, and I was born 1:41 on a Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday's child has many, many woeful times to witness and to overcome. And here we go, guys. We are going to start off this new podcast. I got several podcasts going, several playlists on my channel here, and this new podcast on my playlist is about what? What is it about? Yep, we're gonna do one of my long-term astrology teachers who wrote many general forecast books. Man, do I have stacks of his forecast books. Yes, we're talking about Sidney Omar, folks, and I've read his books for as long as he lived to write them. So here we are. I know that Sidney started off with doing astrology of war. Yeah, astrology of war is so easy to track. It's all about tracking, right? If you're going to be tracking, you're going to be shooting something down, right? You're hunting a man with stuff that he can hunt with you. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to look at this chart. We have January 14th, which is these, holy cow, what? What is the sun doing? The sun is at 24 degrees Capricorn. And being at 24 degrees Capricorn, it's in its third decant of Capricorn. So if we start off this Capricorn decants, we look at the first decant being Capricorn, then the second decant would be Capricorn, Taurus, and then the third Capricorn would be Capricorn, Virgo. And look what we have. Look what we have on the ascendant for this shoot down. They said it was shot down between 9:10 and 9:15. So no matter what, you're getting that ascendant wants to join up with Juno. And look what Juno's doing. Juno's being opposed Neptune. Yeah, Neptune, that spy like us kind of, Neptune kind of, and where was it? Over the sea? I think they're the shot down over the sea sort of thing, right? So we have to look at this. We have to look at what Jupiter's doing. We have to look at, and look how Jupiter is doing things. Jupiter is actually, he's working on some inconjuncts. He's doing all kinds of stuff here. But when we look at Jupiter 5 degrees, because we know he's in forward motion, Uranus is the only thing, Uranus and Vesta, Uranus, Juno, the nodes, those are the things that are in retrograde right now. We got all these other planets. We have Jupiter that's not going in retrograde. Uranus is going to come out of retrograde real soon. But we got Uranus and Vesta and Juno and the nodes in retrograde. Then we have Pallas Athena. Look what Pallas Athena is doing on this chart. Pallas Athena is absolutely opposed Uranus's. It's opposed Uranus retrograde, right? Holy cow! Look at it. It's a waning opposition, but it's still there. And look how Pallas Athena is just doing that sextile hood. Yeah, we're talking about sextile hoods. Lots of sextiles. Holy cow! And trines and all kinds of stuff. Nothing's to get you all confused in the head. If you don't be smart, you're gonna get shot dead, right? This is war. So here we go, guys. We have the sun in the house of sickles, and now we have Venus in Sagittarius, and then we have, it's a missile, Venus in Sagittarius, and as we said, Sagittarius is all about that distance, right? And then we have Ceres too, but look at this. Mercury wants to explore. Mercury, it's this fourth house stuff, right? Mercury is here. Don't you just love it how it works sometimes when you see a chart And you know you're on the right track when you see all these Capricorn planets, but the three of them, here we got Mercury. You need that finger to pull that trigger. Mercury's catching up with Mars. Mercury's, basically letting Mars go. And Mars is that, that missile, that basically going to shoot down that plane, right? That plane's traveling. And that plane could be Jupiter. that Jupiter, that plane is now in the dirt. As I said before, that we started off the new year with a plane crash, right? A flaming plane crash. Remember that? And an earthquake. Jupiter is a guy that moves around, right? He's a guy with speed. He's Jupiter, right? And in Earth, in Taurus, he is absolutely soiled, right? And that plane is absolutely grounded forever and ever and ever. Rest in peace, retrograde, right? So here we go. Rest in many pieces, I maybe should say, right? Because here he goes. That it's so funny because Jupiter's in that Taurus house, but that Taurus house has that again has the Aries has that Aries overlap, which is Mars, and then it's that Scorpio overlap. So you got a Taurus, then you got an Aries overlap, then you got a Taurian overlap. And look at the Chiron. Now we can look at all these charts and we can say, well, okay, that's cool, and we could look at the midhaven, seeing that is, air sign, and there's devotion, Miss Venus, Miss Vista with her devotion in Gemini. And we could be, making all these observations, but we're going nowhere. We could see the incident, right? But when we place the incident against the guy that's leading the force, then we get more out of the understanding of great quality war astrology. Okay, so let's go to Mr. God of War himself. We're gonna get rid of this one and let's pull up Mr. Putin, because this was a shot against him, right? Wasn't against anybody else. Now let's just zoom this chart up here. Let's zoom up here. And let's see. Let's start going from the top here, and let's just take a look at what's going on, right? We have the sun, and this. We have our current transit sun at 24 degrees Capricorn, right? This is what we got. So we got 24 degrees Capricorn, the sun, and he's there. He's in his third decan, so he's in that Virgo house. So and just by chance, we got Virgo in the ascendant, right? And which makes Mercury a key player, and we've. As I said before, Mercury's just moved in that house of sicklehood, right? He's learning how to sickle someone down out of the sky, right? Look at that. And here he is. He's trying. Him, Mercury, and so you got to watch out these trines. Just because you think that Mercury trying Jupiter might seem like a good idea, but it might just make it easy for a plane to fall out of the sky, right? Because look, here you got Mars. And he's in that sicklehood too. He's hanging out with that Saturn energy, right? And that Saturn energy just wants to tear at that hole and remove all the boundaries of the aircraft to the soil. Wow, that was an expensive plane. Where's the Venus? Sagittarius. Venus is burning up in Sagittarius. The plane probably exploded. The plane probably just, like, when that missile hit, it just kept on expanding until it came apart at all ends, right? Yeah, that Jupiter sign. We can think about that because Venus is right in the last minutes. It's actually working on that trade over energy of that second decant of Sagittarius, right? She's getting ready to go into the third decant, so we know that second decant of Sagittarius is what? Of course, Mars, right? Seems so clear, aren't we? I mean, don't you have that clairvoyancy just come into your sight? Okay, so here we go. Astrological clairvoyancy. Because we're going to show you more. Now look at this. Here we got Val. And a lot of astrologers like to put a lot of weight on that ascendant. So let's look at what's going on here, right? We got the sun at 24 degrees Capricorn, okay? Well, there's a Libra at 23 degrees. Libra, Mercury at 23 degrees Libra, right? Then we got a Mars at 26 degrees Sagittarius, so there's a semi-sextile. As I said, those semi-sextiles come up, and believe me, those semi-sextiles come up, and they're doing their thing, right? Especially if he's got a Mars in Sagittarius, right? So you can see where Venus is coming in. Venus is coming in to conjoin with Putin's Mars. So we got to look at these trends coming up. These are predictions, right? What's going to happen when Venus catches up with Putin's? Venus is catching up with Putin's what in Sagittarius? 26 degrees, right? And now Ceres is there too. Ceres is just her conjunction with his Mars is just beginning to happen here, right? So you could read everything you can read about Ceres and Venus and throw that together with, because where are we looking at? Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at these two Sagittarius. He's got his second house, right? This is his second house, which is his Mars. Look at his Mars. He's a Scorpio ascendant, and he's got a Sagittarius overlap of. So that's a pretty wild way to understand how he makes his, because he's got value in rockets, right? He absolutely loves to put his Venus into rockets. Remember, the arrow is ruled by Mars. The tip of the arrow is supposed to be ruled by Mars, and there he is. All the money he's got wrapped up in rockets, right? And missiles. But now let's take a look here. Let's move to his chart. Let's go backwards a little bit here. I don't like to backtrack, but look at this going on here. Look where Venus is in his chart, okay? 11 degrees Scorpio, okay? We know that Venus doesn't like it in Scorpio. And then we have the first house. This is ascendant, 3 degrees Scorpio. And we got Venus there, 11 degrees. So what we got going on here, which is very... And look at this. Holy cow, would you actually look at this? This is going to be very interesting for Val in the next days to come, right? Because we also have to look at where his nodes are. What is going on with his nodes, right? That node is at 18 degrees. And look where the nodes are now, guys. Look where the nodes are right now. The nodes are at 19 degrees. Aries and Libra, right? And... look at that 19-degree mark. Look at those 19s kicking in there. His chart. We got 18 Cancer. We got 19 Taurus. His mean node. His node is at 18 degrees Aquarius, right? So there's a trine, right? There's a trine, or should we say, Aries. No, that's gonna be more like a sextile, right? That's a sextile. My fault. Excuse me, please. So when we look at the nodes here. We got 19 degrees Aries, okay? That's where the node is. And then we look at, what we're going to look at? We're going to look at that mean node at 18 degrees Aquarius. So there is a sextile there. And remember, that's an Aquarius. That was an unexpected thing for him. For that plane to be shot down, that was very unexpected. He wasn't expecting that. As we said, these unexpected things, one party knows that's going to happen, and the other party doesn't know it's going to happen, right? And seeing that humans only know how to use astrology, dolphins don't do it, and elephants definitely don't write the zodiac down in the dirt in front of their children. I never saw any lions. Maybe I haven't seen any lions play astrology in the sand while they're chasing the zebras for the lunch meal, right? For lunchtime habits, right? So here we go. This is our lunchtime. This is our food for thought. Look at this. This is really good here. Because when we look at where Jupiter is, okay, he has a retrograde Jupiter in the 7th house, okay? And Taurus. And his Jupiter's in the house of Venus and Saturn, that 7th house of partnerships, okay? And there's that Aries and Taurus overlap, but it's definitely Taurus. But so look what's going on here. Jupiter right now. Jupiter, stormy Jupiter, right? Jupiter definitely has a stormy. Mr. Naughty or Nice. He says, if you don't want to be nice, Santa Claus has got his other side. He's got that other side to him, right? And remember, remember about the remember about the mythological stories about Saturn, right? That, you know how Saturn and Capricorn is like Janus, that goddess of the threshold kind of woman. You know, that two-faced situation. Well, all planets have two faces because all planets have a dark side and all planets have a light side. Okay, so when we're looking here now. The sun's brilliant on every side. I mean, really, come on. We're all the planets are rebelling against the sun. And we know that Napoleon, the only reason why Napoleon, even though he's a Leo on the sun side, you know how why Napoleon is so much different than Madonna because of that Pluto Scorpio ascendant that Napoleon had, which is right along with Putin here, because we know that Putin is a Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus and Saturn, but he's got that Scorpio ascendant, and look how Jupiter is opposing his ascendant right now. Jupiter is moving away from a solid opposition to his ascendant, but now Jupiter in Taurus is now beginning to oppose Putin's Venus. I mean, these are turning points of war, folks. We've been waiting for the whole war for Jupiter to oppose Putin's Venus, and now we're going to see what it's like. We're going to take our notes. This is predictive astrology. This is predicting the trends. We know that his Venus is going to be, having some opposition, right? His wallet in his first house. I mean, Putin knows about. We all know how wealthy Putin is. Look at Venus in the first house, and where does he make his money? He makes his money with what? That first house is ruled by Mars, and Pluto, and there's Venus. And look at his wallet. Mars is in his wallet. And we're looking at the thing about all of this, guys, is that in the next 19 days, I mean, we could look at where the nodes are. We're looking at the node is now. I mean, this is why we had to do this. I had to drop everything. I'm working on this other major podcast, and I was looking at these two charts, and I said, holy cow, would you look at that? We have exactly the next 20 days to look at how that node is going to react, the sextile, because he's got that Aries node. That node is at 1940, and it's going to be in perfect sextile to his node at 1837. Real quick, we're going to be able to count the days down and watch that intensity climb, because while that node is climbing, Jupiter is going to be racing, and I'm pretty sure in less than 20 days he will be opposed. He's going to be opposed Putin's Venus, right? Wartime astrology, yeah. Jupiter being opposed Venus, right? Look at that. Jupiter's going to be opposed Venus, his Venus, in his first house, Mars, in his first house of gods of war, Pluto and Mars, Scorpio. Like, holy cow. Martian sandwich, Venus with a double Mars sandwich, Venus being the meat and potatoes, most importantly, the meat and potatoes, because, the cows have to eat the potatoes or the corn, the cows have to eat that Venus vegetation in order to, that's why we harvest that grain, those corns and those grasses and what have you. We're going to feed those cows, right? And remember, Venus is rules that house of the bull, right? So you got a Martian sandwich with Venus in the middle, right? Holy cow. And Jupiter's coming in. You have that weight of Jupiter against Venus. This is what we're going to be looking at here in the next 20 days, guys. Next 20 days. Because what we're looking at now is we absolutely have to look at Putin's moon. Where's Putin's moon hiding? Okay? Putin's moon is how many degrees Gemini? It's very important, right? 2 degrees 54 minutes. Remember, my ascendant is 1 degree 55 minutes. It's like 1 minute, 55 minutes out, right? 1 degree out. 1 minute 55 degrees. Look, it's 1 degree out, right? But look at what's happening here. Look where Saturn is. Saturn is squaring. Saturn is absolutely squaring Putin's moon, right? And then here's the moon. The moon's squaring his moon too. And everyone's mooning everyone when your plane's crashing into the ground, right? And it's what did it happen? What happened? This actually happened on a Monday, Moon Day, right? How the astrology is just lucidly, lucidly, like, are we becoming lucid in our clairvoyance with our study of war astrology? If you're not feeling lucidly clairvoyant right now, because I'm showing you the clairvoyancy right here. I'm showing you how you can be a clairvoyant with astrology. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Woohoo! Getting close to that Uranus. Yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting time here, guys. Because as we said, over the next few months, until until the end of April comes, because Jupiter is racing toward Uranus, and they're going to meet up. Uranus is only going to travel 2 degrees, right? He's a slow mover. Uranus has got that huge sack of lightning bolts, right? It pulls and weighs him down until he lets loose of them, right? So Jupiter is going to come by in this time period, and how far is that node going to travel? How far is that node going to travel? That node is climbing. That node is closing in on that apex of Aries. And what will happen first? Will Chiron move away from that apex and watching the node run into that apex and seeing where that is in his chart, right? Look where that apex is. It's in the look at his chart here. His chart, this apex energy that we're talking about. See, that's why we have to have these unequal houses, right? Because right there at 19 degrees, there's nothing happening, right? He's got an empty 6th and 5th house. Holy cow, he spends all of his time with Jupiter being there in his partnership house, right? But we're going to have this happen here because this is what we're saying. This is what we're talking about earlier. Because this apex energy of Aries right here is right across. Because he doesn't have anything here. The reason why he doesn't have anything here is so that that node in Chiron can have plenty of room to make the oppositions to what? His sun, right? His sun is near the apex, right? His sun's after the apex. So we're gonna really watch how that node opposes Putin's sun in the months to come here, right? It's absolutely insane. And the south node is going to be whipping by there, right? The south node is going to be whipping by there. Where is that south node right now? So let's take a look here. We got the south node over here at 19 degrees, right? Libra. So we say here, see that? If you look at that node, it's going to be crazy, right? So we look at that node, and we're going to look at those Libra, right? So that south node has already passed his 21 degree mark, and it's closing in on his Saturn because his Saturn's there. And what's that Neptune doing? Because he's got that Neptune. The south node just past the Neptune, as I said, and then Saturn is there, 17, right? And where's Mercury? Mercury's 23. So the node's past the 23 mark as well, right? he's losing lots of finance, right? Holy cow! I bet you that people are not very happy with him right now. As I understand, they want the war to be progressing faster. They're not liking all this disruption. They don't like all this Uranus in Russia right now. They want the war to be quicker and faster over. And then we finally have, and this is it, right? Because the nodes of fate are going to be crossing over Putin, right? And this is the trend. This is the forecast. I mean, this is the prediction. I mean, it's a certainty. There's no like if, ands, or buts. The nodes will pass over Putin's sun in in the next in less than 60 days. We will bring these charts to the fore. But you're smart. You could do the charts too. Anybody could buy Astro Gold if they got $50 burning a hole in their pocket. I'm a Leo. I have plus I have a Saturn Leo, or sorry, I have a Saturn Aries, and then on top of that, I got a Jupiter Leo. So my wallet's always on fire, right? So look, guys, this is wartime, right? This is how we can look at. We're going to watch Jupiter oppose. We're watching Jupiter oppose Putin's first house, right, of Mars, right? We're going to watch that, and then we're going to watch this Uranus. We're going to watch this energy, right? Because this is all going to happen. His house, his second house cusp, is 29 degrees Scorpio, right? It wants his second house cusp wants to be a Sagittarius cusp, right? And we're going to watch Jupiter oppose his second house cusp. And by the time he does this in May, we're going to be so much more clairvoyant with our astrology than ever before. Just because Johnny I Spy said I'm going to stand up on the floor and do all my chores. Right for YouTube. Yeah. So guys, hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Yes, I'm getting messed with my desktop. Look at this. It's actually clutter nightmare. But we're working on things. We got stuff on the roll, and we gotta be preppers, right? Astrology helps you prep. I did buy some canned food today. They'll last for 2 years at least. I do have 2 compound bows. I do know how to build a hut. I know I'm actually going to be building an earthship. That's why I want to have an earthship ranch here in Alberta in the foothills. But but right now Banff has always been my home, right? I'll be in the Bow Valley as long as I got feet to roam. Look, guys, I hope you get something out of the podcast and you have a little more clairvoyancy about how the opposition of Jupiter, especially when it's to a Venus, can be very trying on your bank account. Because Jupiter likes to get a lot of things done, and sometimes his energy's working against you. Look, I'll let you go, and hope you got something out of the podcast once again. And enjoy, and always look up. The Father is always there with answers for you. If you just want to ask, He'll give them to you just like He gives them to me.